Усім привіт! З нами американець з Нью-Йорку Деніел. І сьогодні ми йому покажемо 3 версії Щедрика. Він не знає, що це українська пісня. Спочатку перша версія з українським хором, потім нещодавне відео, де American Air Force sings that song, американською військові співають Shchedryka, і потім Eileen. Багато з вас коментувало, що я маю показати також цю пісню американцям. Якщо вперше на Україна, вітаю вас! А якщо ви тут не вперше, то також вітаю вас. Подивіться, чи ви підписані на канал і чи у вас стоїть дзвіночок. Бажаю вам приємного перегляду. Now I'm gonna surprise you. That is a Ukrainian song. You'll see the performance and let's see how you feel about it, okay?
Surprise me.
Yeah. Traditional clothing as well. It's 100 years old, this song.
This is Ukrainian. Wow. Are the lyrics the one we're familiar with in this country? Because it's a very standard song we hear in the holidays and Christmas time.
Do you remember the name of this song?
It's a traditional holiday Christmas song, I think. And I'm trying to remember the lyrics. Yes, it's obviously Christmas with all that, I think. Trying to remember the English lyrics. I had no idea it was Ukrainian. Wow.
So it's Carol of the Bells that is called in the US.
Yes. Are the lyrics translated from that?
It was written by a Ukrainian guy, and then it was his team going to different cities in the US to perform, not with this one, with many others. But this song was liked a lot, and actually in New York City, that is where they translated it to English, and then it became very popular in the US here, and they made it more like customized for Christmas, because originally it wasn't supposed to be a Christmas song. And I think most of Americans don't know that actually originally it was Ukrainian.
That was a surprise. I had no idea, but now my estimation of Ukrainian culture has risen even higher. You should be very proud. It's a very iconic song. It's funny that certain songs become associated with the holidays but are not particularly written for a specific holiday. There are several songs that come to mind, even American songs that we hear around Christmas time and we associate with as Christmas songs, but they weren't written that way.
Just a few days ago, the American Air Force was singing this song for Ukrainians.
Wow!
Which was super unexpected, and many Ukrainians were very amused and pleased, and I thought you might like seeing
to see that. I sure would. Where was this, in Kiev or in Ukraine?
I don't think so. I think it was in the US.
When the Ukrainian National Chorus visited the United States on a concert tour in 1921, American choir director Peter Wojciechowski was captivated by one of the songs, Shchedryk, a Ukrainian New Year song meaning bountiful or generous, by composer Mykolo Leontovich. Wojciechowski thought the song reminded him of bells, so he decided to set it to new English lyrics to be performed during the holiday season. Today, Carol of the Bells is one of the most well-known and loved Christmas songs in the United States. Please watch the singing sergeants of the United States Air Force Band in Washington, D.C. perform Carol of the Bells as a tribute to the U.S.-Ukraine partnership. Ukraine has no greater partner than the United States, which stands with you in your efforts to assert sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Good for us.
We wish you all the best this holiday season.
Look at all her medals.
Yeah.
This is.
I didn't know there's so many of them sing. I was really impressed.
That there'd be a Marine choir,
Yeah, I didn't know that. Did you know it exists, the
Yes.
Marine Choir?
Yes, all the branches have something like this. They also have sports teams that compete.
Wow,
So
it's like college.
it is. But we don't associate. We think they just fight, you know.
Yeah, exactly. They have their community and stuff.
They're good. They're good. Notice the uniforms are all unisex. There isn't a woman. There's not a woman's uniform and a men's uniform.
Why is that?
That's evolved. I think that, you know, it's funny because I studied this too, a little, the history of uniforms and things. The National Park Service, which it's a civilian, but they dress up too, and they run our national parks. They started in the 1920s, and there used to be women's uniforms, and in the armed services, there were women wore, like, you know, either skirts and some kind of professional, but different than men, something feminine. But I think as a product, relatively recently in our history, the last 20 years, women have been allowed to train as officers.
Since when was that?
I think they fought for that and won in the 1970s and 80s.
So relatively recently,
yes. I mean, they were always allowed to be in the services, but more in traditional roles of support. They were not leadership. But the military academies started accepting women in the 1970s as part of our second wave feminism. I think part of the women's movement for gender equality came to how they were dressed. And I was saying the National Park Service, I had a student do a paper on the history of how the women in the National Park Service, and the women used to wear very, you know, kind of feminine, even maybe a little sexy dresses and form-fitting and all this, but with the hat and official. But then it slowly evolved, and even the National Park Service park rangers have the same uniform now as men. I think it's a tribute to the fact that, you know, they are on equal footing now, and so they don't need to be wearing things that might seem appealing for men, you know, and fashion statements. They're in the service, men wear this, women wear the same thing.
That's interesting. I didn't notice that. But now that exact same.
Yes.
And the hair, they're all like have it back. Although this one has
The women are probably wearing a little makeup.
a little makeup, but maybe for this performance. But no skirts.
Oh, there's another expression. I got it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's an expression denotes who is in charge within a family or in general. Because men have often been the leader of the family, they earn the money, the women have traditional roles. The expression is whoever is in charge in the family is the person who wears the pants. Who wears the pants in the family? Because traditionally pants were worn by men. Or if a woman is sort of in charge in the relationship, you know, or in charge, she wears the pants, which means that she is the man, right? And in charge.
We have some other expression, but I am too shy to just say that. But it's very, very related. Якщо ви зрозуміли, що я маю на увазі. Do you have a Christmas mood, by the way? Christmas is this week.
Yes, I know. It's coming up.
Yeah.
I know. I tend not to celebrate.
You're not celebrating.
Well, no, not that I would if I was with somebody for Christmas. I'm not against it, but I'm Jewish. We celebrate This is Hanukkah's now. It's the 7 days, and we like candles. I'll show you. just something very quick. I think I posted.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
No, I'm fine with that. But in America, we have a big Jewish population, and we celebrate a different holiday that falls. The Jewish calendar is a different time of the year. So if you see, this is, and I posted this, this is all the Hanukkah celebration. We celebrate for 8 nights. See, happy Hanukkah.
Let me try to show it to them.
That's called a menorah, and we light a candle for each night, and it symbolizes in the Old Testament, which the Jewish people, you know, Moses and all that. But apparently the Jews were in Jerusalem, and they were surrounded, you know, they were fighting the Syrians. They were under siege, and they sent someone out to get troops to come in. This is what the holiday's about. But they only had enough oil to burn, you know, to keep light going for one night, but it found out that one night's worth of oil lasted for 8 nights, and that's what each candle symbolizes, and it's called the miracle of the lights. The holiday is called Hanukkah, and it's about that time. So that's what Hanukkah is. So if any of you have Jewish friends who are celebrating this holiday as opposed to Christmas, then you understand it a little better.
Напишіть на це, якщо ви чули про це, і чи є у вас друзі, котрі святкують Хануку. They will write down about that.
Okay, good.
Just yesterday, one of our Ukrainian singers has also performed this song where one sentence in Ukrainian, one sentence in English, which I thought was pretty cool.
Shchedryk, Shchedryk, щедрівочка, here flew the swallow from the floor, started to sing, diving out, asking the master to come out, come here, oh kind master, it's time in the sheepfold, wonders to find your lovely sheep have given birth to little lambs of great worth. All of your wares are very fine, coin you will have in a big pile. All of your wares are very fine, coin you will have in a big pile. You have a wife fair as a dove, if not the coin then the chaff. You have a wife fair.
Can you hear accent in her English a little bit? Yeah, a little bit.
But that makes it endearing. It's nice. I love her outfit.
So it's Ukrainian traditional outfit, the dress and this clothing.
Have you ever worn that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. This is Ukrainian now. So you now heard several versions of this song.
I know, I love it. I'm going to be humming it in my head and all day now. It's very holiday, very festive.
But you didn't actually grow up too much with this song, right?
I'm aware of it. It was part of the thing about Christmas and the holidays. They become very secular. So even though I'm Jewish, and we don't separate, and a lot of the music and the festivity of this is come into our popular culture. You know, I listened to Christmas tunes. When I was married to someone who was not Jewish, we celebrated, we had a tree.
Really?
Yeah. And that's true of a lot of American families. Things have blended together.
And here it's hard not to hear it, because when you go during Christmas season shopping, you can hear all these songs everywhere.
Everywhere,
yeah.
Yes. And I like them. I mean, do you know, this is true story. One of the most popular Christmas songs in America is called I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Okay.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
It was written in the 1940s, and Bing Crosby performed it, and it became a standard for everybody, you know, wanting to have a nice snowy Christmas. That's part of the songbook for Christmas that we hear a lot in America. Anyway, it was written by a Jewish man.
Wow!
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes, so you can see that's a symbolic of how mixed everything is here.
And what's interesting that after that song became so popular in the US, and Ukrainians are like, whoa, this is so popular in the US, and it became popular in Ukraine. So US kind of helped it to be popular in Ukraine.
Which is a statement about the influence American culture has on the rest of the world.
It's almost like you want something to be popular in Ukraine, bring it to the US, make it popular in the US, and then it will bring it back, and everyone is like, oh, it's popular in America, it's got to be good, though. Let guys also enjoy it and be proud of it. It's weird. It's so weird.
No, but it happens a lot. For example, in film, there are famous French directors, and their films were not that famous in France until they became popular at a film festival here, and everybody wrote and saw it, and then it grew in popularity back in France. So it seems that America drives a lot of.
So I feel like marketing,
it's commercial. It's market. It's brand. I mean, I know it in sports. For example, the NBA basketball teams are known all over.
Because you're a sports professor, you're teaching stuff about sports.
So some of the biggest brands are sports brands, and they're international. In fact, that's why David Beckham, the soccer player, came here to establish his brand. Grew tremendously more than all his years of being a superstar in England. And he played at the end of his career, and he's formed a team here in Miami, building on the fact that his brand in America is bigger than it is in England. So go figure.
I think every country outside the US should feel great about the things that are created within that country, and they don't have to wait until,
they don't need to be validated. But I think when you look at commercial validation, just because there's so much here where money can be generated for something like a song like this, but artistic validation and commercial validation are two different things, as you know. So that just the sheer size of us, and the fact that we're a marketing capital of the world, and that just has now global, we are now, it's now a global economy, all interconnected. But because this is the center of it. But I agree with you. I don't think, the Sistine Chapel does not have to be, popular in the United States. Michelangelo was great before, before he became, known in America. The Statue of David, all the wonderful things that exist in the world.
Unless they appear in Hollywood movie, they are not known and tourists don't come.
But look, even famous directors came to Hollywood. Hitchcock was British. Milos Forman was a very famous Czech.
Mila Jovovich, have you heard of her? She's Ukrainian.
Yes, I have. But if you want to cash in on it, you come and build your brand. And basketball, all the great European basketball players come to play for the Miami Heat. But that's where and they play for their national teams in the Olympics, and they're proud of that. And here in America, their baseball is big in Cuba, and they have great superstars there. But they all defect. It's a communist country. They're not allowed to immigrate, and it's very restricted. But they take a rowboat across from Cuba to here to play baseball and make millions of dollars here. So it's a phenomena that exists, unfortunately, and driven by the economic engine. And you're a finance professor, so you know some of this stuff, right?
A little bit, but it still fascinates me.
Me too.
And you cannot do anything. I mean, that's just the way the world is.
Well, and there's something called the American dream. And I teach this because it's built on...
You're teaching about the American dream?
Yes.
Wow, I met first time in my life a person who teaches about American dream.
I do.
Teach us about American dream.
Okay, I will. It's a concept, and it's founded on the idea, several phrases that we use, that our streets are paved with gold, that the idea is very materialistic, and it's built on an idea of meritocracy. In America, the dream is that if you work hard, you will get, things will come to you. I have always thought that this dream, and built on commercial, the more you have, the more you realize your dream. You own a house, you have a car, you have all this, and it's built on hard work. So if you really work hard, you can achieve this kind of material.
Whatever you want, basically,
Not spiritual stuff.
You're not getting the best meditative state.
No, none of the things.
Not at all, actually the opposite, probably. There's a lot of stress.
Yes, and actually Dalai Lama, and all of that is very opposite of that vision of success. But the American dream, I always felt from an American perspective, was not as legitimate as it sounded, because like every place else in the world, it's not simply hard work, but sometimes it's who you know, and people who are higher socioeconomic class and born with the opportunity, they get to go to better schools, and so it's not quite as like anybody could be president. That's another thing that, doesn't matter what color or what ethnicity, or poor people can go from the mailroom to the boardroom. There's several. Horatio Alger myth is a story from the 19th century, 1800s, about someone who just was working in a small little job, but he kept hard and he self-educated himself and he became the owner of the business and very wealthy. That's the dream. But what I've come to realize is that many people from other countries where the economy maybe not, third world, that it is legitimate for them, and just they all say, but there just are more opportunities. And being American, I'm a little bit cynical about the dream, because I see Americans who are subject to prejudice or sexism and things that are barriers to achieving the ultimate success. It's not just this big open to everybody thing from my perspective, but from perspectives of people who come here from Ukraine. They
have way higher restrictions,
difficulties. So I've come to a newfound respect for the American dream, and we teach it in terms of what it means to you individually. Religious people felt that the holiday was getting very commercialized. Santa Claus, what is that? That has nothing to do with Christ and Christmas, Santa is some, it's a children's thing, but there's no religious connotation with Santa Claus. I teach at a Catholic school, and one of the sayings is put the Christ back in Christmas, because it's gotten away from a lot of the religious meanings. And that's why Christmas has become more of a secular holiday than it is a religious.
It became very commercialized. Companies use it as a way to sell their products and services.
Absolutely. Right after Thanksgiving, that's what they call Black Friday, is the biggest shopping. That's used to be the kickoff to the Christmas season. It's now expanded on both sides.
Over 1 month, yeah. By the way, would you have a guess when Ukrainians celebrate Christmas? Which day?
It's not on the same day as we do, right?
It's not, yeah.
Are you on the Greek Orthodox calendar? Yes, that's what I thought. Jews are on a different calendar, so Hanukkah comes different time every year. I give up. When is it on? When is your Christmas?
So there is this 13-day difference, and it would go forward. So for us, it's January 7th.
Nice, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's good to know. So you're not really celebrating a whole lot now?
Now it's like 2 Christmases in Ukraine, one on the 25th and then January 7th, which is more traditional.
Why not?
Write down below if you guys celebrate Christmas on both days, on the 25th and on the 7th, or which day do you celebrate more? No. It's really interesting.
It's funny because I grew up in New York, and there was a Greek Orthodox church near me, and on January, I think the day you say, I would hear some of the music and the song on that day, and I was wondering why, when I was a little boy.
Oh.
And that was because it was a...
now you realize the mystery from your childhood.
It's been explained.
Yeah, that's funny. And also a funny thing, on January 13th, we celebrate Old New Year. So it's almost like a small holiday as well, which is like 30
days. You can't have too many holidays.
I know. I feel like Ukrainians have more holidays than any other people.
Do you know they sell a calendar? There's a holiday on every day of the year somewhere
from every country.
And the calendar tells you that this is some holiday and wherever it is. So if you ever want to take a day off
or a year off,
a whole year, but on any particular day you can look at this calendar and say, I'm observing,
I'm a fan of this culture. I'm celebrating
the Turkish national whatever day, which falls on this day. I'm sure they must have some Ukrainian ones and American ones.
Wow, that's really fun. Thank you so much. Thank you for reacting to this Christmas song.
My pleasure.
If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then make sure to hit the like button and please leave a comment below what you like the most or answer one of the questions that I asked you during the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the holidays so far, and I wish you all the best in 2021. 2021, I have to get used to saying that. All best wishes to you. Maybe some wishes from you?
Oh yes, I wish you all a wonderful, healthy, happy, peaceful holiday season and a wonderful 2021. I've got a feeling it's going to be a better year for everyone all over the world, including in the Ukraine.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.